Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the first episode of Full Dive RPG, which is what I'm going to call it going forward because the whole title really long, really hard to say, and I think Full Dive RPG gets the point across well enough. So, this anime, I do not read synopsises, so all I really have to go by is that really long title. And that title, basically, the gist of it is this game. It's more of a kusoge than reality, which is saying something because reality sucks for most of us. I would say. I think that's fair to say, right? So a game is supposed to be escapism, supposed to be a fun experience you can't have in real life. So when they suck worse in real life, I mean, what's even the point at that point, right? And the term kusoge, that basically just means it's like a high tier level of terrible video game, right? Like some games just have the reputation as just being the top of the giant turd that is the terrible video games, right? So in Full Dive, when I hear Full Dive, I usually think like, you know, the VR, the virtual reality. That's usually what I think. So I assume our protagonist has a VR headset that he's gonna throw on and go into the game for the absolute most immersive gaming experience, which can be a lot of fun. But like that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Kusoge, like I never really heard of any virtual reality kusoge, but like that would be so much worse because you're in it, you know, like literally surrounded by it, like you're in the world of the kusoge. So I am kind of curious just how bad it is and what exactly makes it bad. Like that's a real thing that I'm curious about. So I do want to dive into it and discover those things. Before I do, I kind of have to explain my reaction format real quick, though. So I did not show the anime footage and stuff in the video because copyright. YouTube is not a big fans of that. Sometimes video gets taken down, sometimes channel gets taken down. It's all really terrible stuff. So what I do show you, though, is subtitles from the show that are like down there where the words are. The actual subs will be there later, as well as a timer, you know, so you can kind of get your own copy of the show and get it all synced up, and we can all watch it along together. It's quite great if you can get it all working like that. So this let's just dive into the show and see exactly what we're in for. So 3, 2, 1, play. And we start off with some, you know, Funimation title sequences. Okay, yeah, this is running. He's already found the kusoge and is running from it. Yeah, VR confirmed. Are those Vive controllers? Yeah, big variety of game genres here. And settings. Sounds pretty advanced. Wow. I mean, I don't want to be too realistic because real life sucks. Is that why he becomes a kusoge? Yeah, it looks like we are getting into that. I'm glad we got that established. Oh, right in the eye. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea. Like, because yeah, VR RPGs and stuff, they strive for realism, but it gets to a certain point, like you hit the undo button, like it's like go back, like that one meme. Future survey kind of thing. It's a big decision, to be fair. Track me. That's why we started running earlier, right? Can I just play a crappy game instead? Touching. Sounds about right. Thanks. What is that Kyuu talking about? Did I miss something? Either way, I get that he's not helping. Yuki. Thank you for reminding me of my suffering. I appreciate the pep talk, Sensei. I think he's been spotted. Not really. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Let's do that. That's why we play VR, because it's more physically active. Best of both worlds. I can't think of a better way to run away. So whatever incident we're talking about was a while ago, okay. So was it like just like an injury type of thing? You don't gotta tell me that. Are these friends? Because they don't seem like friends. Just by the tone of voice and everything. Yeah, they're not friends. I don't believe you. Thanks. Can you beat yourself up, please? That'd be great. I'll pay extra for it. Phil Bank. It makes me wonder what kind of bank that is. Finalizing Quest 22. That sounds pretty exciting, I guess. Every quest? Oh, is that... Wait, is that the name of the game? Finalizing Quest? Is that how you... is that really the name of the game? I've heard some terrible... I've seen some terrible fake video game names in anime. Like that one Shield one, but... Oh, was that not intentional? Because I noticed that. Sir, behind me, could you help me out? Tame. Well, the day could go better. We could always try hitting up eBay and hope for the best. Kisaragi. Sounds kind of cool. I mean, what do you have to lose? It's got music playing. That's a good sign. Well, maybe it's still worth playing. Oh, hello, you're cute. Who are you? That's some gorgeous hair. I definitely didn't expect to see her here. I can tell you that. I can think of a few ways, but anyway. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about, ma'am? 22 games in the series. Did I say something funny? I don't think I get the joke. Please clue me in. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, that I did get that. I think I recognize her voice actress. I mean, it's not his fault. Well, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I came here to buy a game. It's just, it's so realistic, it just kind of hurts to hear it. Man, she is stacked. I almost feel bad for this shirt. It's gonna get torn any second. Wouldn't have to tell me twice. Are you gonna suggest another game to play? Because I'm open to anything, anything at all. I mean, that's still a lot. I mean, new video games are $60 here. That picture of a... Oh, the senses. I get it. Yeah, the 5 senses. Okay. I was like, why is there a tongue on the back of the box? Well, she never said it was. Man, she is a tricky sales. Well... I feel like this may be the Kusuge from the title, the titular Kusuge. ZZ. Does that mean there's tits in it? I assume that's what it means. I don't know. I think we should give this a try, man. She's pretty convincing. Yeah, do you want to play a game for filthy casuals? Do you want to be that kind of guy? Or do you want to play a real man's game? Riona. I can remember that. Maybe. I'll try. So you'll show me the ropes and everything, right? I expect some free gold if I'm playing this game with you. Yeah, aren't you glad you went in? Aren't you glad you went into that store now? What? Something wrong with some retro gaming? I mean, I'm not sure what you expected. Yeah, you pay good money for that. Don't break it. For a 10-year-old game, jeez. What does it think it is for the GameCube? Okay, hello. Who are you? Oh, I mean, more importantly, what are you to the protagonist? I mean, you already did it for me, so... Oh no, that seemed like a good thing to me. Because considering you didn't get hit or anything. Nearly. Oh wow, that's cool. I feel like you probably won't end up doing that. Because kind of the premise of the show. But yeah, really cool tech setup here. Link, start! Okay. She did say that. I mean, I'm sure it'll open up. We'll see some of its uniqueness. Oh hey, it's our starting area. Full first-person perspective, as you would expect. As it should. Well, as it usually does, I should say. It's much better if you can have your main character be like a cute cat girl or something. But this is realism, so... Oh wow, even a waterfall. I'm just waiting for the Kusuge-ness to rear its ugly head. Like, that's kind of what I'm waiting for at this point. There's no it's coming, right? Unless the title lied to me. So we're gonna see some of those high-tech advanced NPCs we heard about. And yeah, gotta love those 5 senses. Did you not look at the back of the box? Believe it or not, some people do want that. So, Who are you? Look, yeah, look at them polygons, that high-res model. Well, yeah, we gotta realism. I'm sorry, you're just so cute I couldn't help but stare. Yeah, we're not full Sword Art Online or anything. I think he hit his foot. Alicia. Ah, childhood friend, gotcha. That sounds about right. More like I literally just got here in this world. He looks like he could snap you in two. Brother. Decent looking apple. Really? Way better than last year for sure. There's the other sense. Okay. Kamige, he says. Kamige, he says. Kamige is the opposite of a Kusage, if you weren't aware. What? Wait, what? What? What was with that reaction? Do they not approve of me trying to be an adventurer? Can you elaborate on the setting a little bit? Yeah, this was a shift. I guess it's a really dangerous world out there. Yeah, but the thing is, this is a more realistic RPG. Oh! Ow! He doesn't want his best friend to leave him. Excerpt. I'm glad I'm not the only one that didn't know what that meant. More like I just got here. Please explain things to me. Like I'm 5. Gotcha. Town of 10. Where do I go to hear the talk in this town? I mean, I can recommend an anime to you. Man, she still looks so freaked out back there. We're gonna do it through violence. It is funny how he's, yeah, really trying to leverage his knowledge of standard RPGs, but it's a little help here, which is the best thing about the setting. Oh. Also, yeah, you feel pain in this one. Don't forget that. I bet, because I feel like he did if he was excited for that match. Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it? I think it might have done some good in that respect. How could you say such a thing to me? Another Kanura tree. Is it like the tree from Tokimeki Memorial? Forever with you? Ow. Yeah, I think you hit him enough. We had to get a couple hits to knock some sense into you. You're about to leave the city. A good point. You're not exactly a skilled warrior. Yeah, so far it doesn't seem like that fun of a game, but you never know. Maybe it'll get better in the second half. Did we break him? Is this a glitch? Oh! Oh, damn. Uh, I, oh god. This is gonna really put a damper on a childhood friendship. This is a good point. Yeah, it was accidental murder, so can we forgive and forget? I don't know what you expect him to do. I'll call you later, okay? Maybe we could take our chance with the goblins. I think it made us an enemy for life. And yeah, I'm starting to see the Kusuga aspect of this. Oh god. That sound she's making. That's just... Run, hero, run. How far are we gonna have to go? So yeah, that's how you start an RPG. I mean, it was an accident. It also was an NPC. I feel like that's probably not going to be an option. There's no new game in real life. Oh, hey, yeah. Thank you for finding me. Yeah, that. Now is always the time. Can I stay with you? My previous living place didn't work out. Oh, she's a fairy. Oh, wow. Can we keep her? That's convenient. I swear I know her voice. I'll look that up afterwards. No, not exactly. I mean, yes, but actually no. That would be my answer to that. That sounds really cliche, but that is not now it happened. I briefly noticed that earlier, but as it was kind of like glowing a little bit. A title. Man, that viewing angle. It was an accident, I swear. In my defense, he punched me first. And because I was just trying to leave. What a thing to end off on. So is this the opening? I assume it is. Oh yeah, we never saw the redhead girl. I look forward to that. Yes. The apples, yeah. And she has the apples. This is what I call an opening right here. I'm already sold. Wow, it just these segments just keep getting better. Yeah, it's a pretty solid anime so far. I'm glad I'm watching it. I think this is a potential anime this season. Kodoshite, please don't Kodosu me. I wish I had subs for the song. Like, I mean, I can pick up some of it, but it's really hard because they're speaking quickly and talking over each other at times. But I can hear enough to tell it's an interesting song. There's a Daisuke part. I love you and all. I got that. Oh wow. I'm even more curious about the redheaded girl after watching that opening. Living in a dead game. Okay. That was that was the first episode of Full Dive RPG, and I kind of love it. I gotta be honest. I kind of love it. Okay, so the funny thing is, when I looked at it on the initial, when I first saw this show, like on the chart, one of the things I kind of thought to myself was, okay, that looks like it's kind of up my alley, but also looks like a generic cliche kind of video game isekai-ish sort of show that I'll probably end up watching. You know, that was kind of my impression of it just by looking at the cover art. But I think the show does a pretty good job of really kind of carving its own little niche of a show. That's the best way I can think of to phrase it, right? Okay, so our premise. We have VR RPG kind of technology, right? It's advanced quite a lot. You can get all 5 senses and stuff like that. It's advanced to the point where it's pretty close to real life. I mean, that's not exactly a new thing for anime, really. But even shows like that, usually it's still... They still know their limits as far as how realistic to make it, right? But this is kind of a situation where they just keep going, right? Until it gets to that point. And a game was made like that. Right, and then I guess they said something about afterwards they kind of took a step back. I mean, I can go look at that part later, but yeah, they kind of gave a bit of an overview of it. The point is that the game he's playing now is that sort of super realistic kind of game, because he was gonna play, what was it called? New Quest? What was that stupid name of the game? Finalizing Quest 22. Wow. I mean, she talks about 22 being a big number for, like, game sequels, but, I mean, what's Final Fantasy up to? Like, freaking 12, 20, till the 17, at least 16. Like, I haven't played a Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy X, but I know it's pretty high. I know it's in the high teens, at least, so. But, yeah, just her whole rant about that. Just, yeah, I mean, it's true. The longer, almost without exception, the longer some kind of game franchise whatever goes on, it gets worse and worse after a certain point. They're just milking it, churning out sequels because they know they'll sell. Because the person's like, well, I bought Super Duper Deluxe Ultra Fist Fighter 7. I guess I'll buy Super Deluxe Ultra Fist Fighter 8. I mean, why not? What else am I going to do with my life? I'm already this far invested in it, right? And maybe it'll be better this time, right? Like, it's so realistic it hurts. Like, it's... Because this is a work of fiction that's telling me this, and usually works of fiction are the ones that do that to me. Keep making more and more of the same basic thing, and I keep buying it even though I know I'm probably gonna regret it. It's that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, the way he got into his current situation is, well, first of all, we had a little bit of the real life stuff. He seems to be or was part of the track team, but apparently there was some big incident a couple years ago that was pretty traumatic and kind of ruined that whole thing, right? They were pretty vague on exactly what happened. Maybe we'll get clarification on that later. But he went to go buy a video game because, as we kind of established, he's using video games as a way as escapism, to run away from his crappy life. As I said kind of in the intro, that's the whole idea of video games. You buy them because being a hero in a town and with lots of friends and stuff, it's a lot better than just being a hikinito or whatever, right, in real life. So it's a great form of escapism like that, but he didn't have the money for it because he gave some money to some, like, extortionists, and he kind of led to a bit of a sketchy shop where he's like, you know, Kisaragi, maybe they have the game, probably not, what do we got to lose? Maybe they have it there for cheaper, maybe. And she just kind of was an excellent salesperson where she was like, oh, that game became on your for, you don't want that. That sucks. I know what you want. You want this? This is the good stuff. Like, oh wow, okay, I'll buy this. Like, wait, this isn't even one of the finalizing quest games. And then she just zooms on over there to make the sale before he can, you know, say never mind. Very much just kind of like a GameStop employee would do for you. I think it's pretty similar to that. So he buys the game because she kind of really sells it to him as being like a hardcore game, like not for filthy casuals. Like, I did like her pitch of the game for sure, and she did kind of comment that she plays it too, so that'd be pretty cool because she's obviously a very attractive girl, and why wouldn't you want to play a game with her if you could? So yeah, I think overall he was happy with his decision to pick up the game. Before we actually went into it, he met up with a girl. Did we actually clarify who she was? The change-in scene? I mean, Kaede is her name, but was that like his sister or childhood friend or something? Did we actually clarify that? I mean, doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, not too much. But yeah, he's got his VR set up. Even the chair like has glowy lights and stuff. VR always looks so much cooler in anime than it does in real life. Because I have played it with VR a little bit. I have an Oculus Quest, the original Oculus Quest. I've Rift, I meant to say Oculus Rift, and I have an Oculus Quest and the Gear VR, which isn't even that useful anymore. That I showed during the intro. Right, so I have a decent amount of experience with VR, and it just always looks cooler in these sort of games. We still don't quite have a lot of those senses in modern technology, which kind of sucks, but that's, as we can see, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So he jumps in the game, and he's in kind of like a pretty standard starting area for the most part, and meets a girl, and we already kind of had a bit of a narration about the quality of NPCs and how advanced they are, and she's kind of our first example of really getting to see that tech in action. She didn't even have like a name above her head or anything, so really selling that realism. And she's pretty much the childhood friend character. She's very much associated with apples and the orchard and all that. You could tell because that one shot of her in the ED, right? So when I saw the apple, first thing I thought of was Macross Delta, because that's the most recent show I've watched where an apple was of any importance. It looked quite similar, I swear. So, and she has a brother, and she's a childhood friend character. And the funny thing is that, because she whipped out a knife to cut the apple, funny thing is that as soon as she did that, my first thought was yandere, because that's kind of what I associate with cute girls and suddenly whipping out a knife and stuff. There's some trauma in my head there. Like, I watched that one anime, what was it called? School Days, I want to say it was. You know, that one infamous show. I watched that show completely blind a long time ago, so I had no idea if anything bad would happen. So that was my first experience seeing anything yandere related, and I was a little bit traumatized by that. So yeah, it's whenever I see a knife, this kind of context, and lo and behold, it kind of sort of became the case later on. Like, you wouldn't exactly call it yandere because it's just more or less straight up hatred. Like, the word yandere gets misused a lot amongst like Westerners and stuff, but yeah, my point is it's just kind of an association I had with her, and then she got kind of violent with the knife later on, which is pretty funny. It kind of, but I mean, now that I think about it, yeah, the way they did kind of show off the knife, it did almost kind of like sort of feel like foreshadowing. So I did kind of like somewhat pick up on it, but I still couldn't have imagined how things would go. But yeah, we have a protagonist here. He almost kind of reminds me of Subaru a little bit, like from ReZero. The way Subaru was like, wow, I got isekai, this is cool. I know all the cliche isekai tropes. Where's my magic? When do I get to be a cool hero? Like, almost kind of reminded me of that, except this guy has more reason to believe that's the case because this is literally a game, unlike an isekai anime. This is just him playing a game that he bought, so he's kind of has some reasonable expectations about what it would be like, what he's going to experience. However, as he's kind of slowly learning, it's not quite the case. That's not, no, because he's just like, hey, well, the castle, I want to go to the castle, I'm ready to leave the town, go on my big old adventure, like, give me my basic sword, my basic shield, and my combat boots, and I'm heading out. And they just kind of look at him like this man just said he was going to rocket to the moon. That's kind of the look that they gave him. They just couldn't fathom why he would say such ridiculous stuff. So I really did enjoy some of the facial expressions we got on those two. Right, so yeah, apparently the town is very much in a very risky position. Like, outside the town, there's goblins and stuff that would probably want to kill you horribly. So we have kind of a moat and stuff to protect us from that, and he's just like, well, see you guys later. And of course his best friend isn't just going to let him walk out and get himself killed. That's best friends don't do that, right? So he ended up getting a little bit violent with him. And that was one of the things that really he learned the hard way in this episode, was the five senses, right? touch, taste, hearing, you know, all of them, right? So pain's a big sense, right? It's a part of life, but usually it's not a part of video games, which is one of the good things about video games. Some of the things that you would think would be cool to do in real life would be cool, but there's pain involved, especially battling monsters and stuff like that. That looks really cool and exciting in video games, but as soon as a monster just like punches you in the side of the head and scratches you all up and you lose an eye and stuff, it's not as fun at that point, right? You get to kind of skip past that in video games, at least in normal video games, but in this specific brand of kusoge, no. If your best friend punches you in the face because you're acting like a crazy person, you feel that. You bleed. There's no whipping out the herbs to fix it real quick. There's no redoing to get a better stat roll, like Welcome to Life video game edition, essentially, right? So he's definitely coming to terms with that. And that's really what the bulk of this whole scene was about, him coming to terms with the fact that he's not in Kansas anymore. This is not a typical RPG. The girl promised him an experience that's not meant for filthy casuals. It's what he got, but he's got to really be made to understand that. And I think by the end of the scene, he pretty much was. I do want to go back to the part where he does accidentally kill his friend real quick. Make sure. Because he tackles him, right? Wait a minute, we'll go further back. Because, yeah, he tackles him. I didn't notice that first, but yeah, now that I'm looking at it again, he does have, like, the best friend has a knife in his hand. Because I was wondering exactly how he got stabbed, but as you can see, well, as I can see, as he tackles him, he does already have the knife in his hand. It's already, like, roughly in this kind of position, right? So really it's not under... It is, yeah, it's understandable how that could happen, because he just, like, gets knocked over and it just kind of goes in the mouth. But I was confused for a good few seconds, because he's standing there acting all confident, like, yeah, that's what you get, boy, I can fight back. You're not so tough now. You see him laying down. This is a really good angle, like at, 18 minutes, 32 seconds. The first shot we see of him as he's laying down, the camera's very deliberately in a position where you can see, like, a decent chunk of his face, like you can see the position he's in, but just in the perfect position where it cuts off where you can't see the knife sticking out of his mouth. So, it's obviously very intentional, but at this point I was just like, what happened? Like, that really wasn't that much damage. This guy is a bigger, bulkier guy than a protagonist Kun. Why would that knock him out? Like, that's what I was kind of trying to figure out during this segment. And even after the overview headshot, you still can't really very easily tell that there's a knife in his mouth. I mean, if you stop it and you already know what happened, yeah, and you're specifically looking for it, you can tell, because it's a little bit sticking out from the back of the head. But the handle, yeah, the handle is kind of camouflages with the ground. So at this point, I still didn't quite understand what happened. But but after he said his name again, I started to get a bit of a creeping sensation in the back of my neck. Best way I could describe it, like something is wrong. I didn't quite know what was wrong. I knew something was wrong. And then we get a big old close-up of protagonist's face, and after he has that look on his face, I definitely know something's wrong. And then we get one more camera adjustment to show us that the knife is indeed in his mouth, like all the way to his mouth, like all the way through the back. Like, that is fatal right there. Like, blood everywhere. Yeah. You could say that surprised me a little bit. Like, we get a great scream from the sister character of him, and yeah, I felt pretty bad for her, because yeah, the brother was technically just trying to help keep his friend alive, and because he just gets killed as a result. Like, from her perspective, that's pretty horrible. And I had to imagine he feels at least a little bit bad. I mean, he's just an NPC and all that, but he's gotta still feel a little bit bad, right? Because it's just so realistic. But yeah, and he didn't run away. She was really terrifying as she was chasing after him, like really terrifying. So I wonder if she's just gonna be like after his life for the majority of the show, because if they can keep that going as a thing, that he's just like constantly trying to avoid her, so he doesn't just get murdered, that'd be great. So, and then we finally had Rhea, was her name, right? Come over, and I think our first shot of her was a real big close up. So I just thought she was a normal character, like not a fairy, but then it pulled out and we saw that she is indeed a fairy, kind of like Yui from Sword Art Online, right? Except much more sexy. But I do quite like her design though, for sure. it's just overall her design is great. Like the chest a little bit too big for my liking personally, but that's a very minor complaint. She looks great overall. Like everything, literally everything else is great. And it's I mean, it's not that bad of a thing. Just because she wears them well. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, actually, where did she start talking about that? Was it before she started talking about the title? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, she's like, did you finish picking apples? Because that's what they were gonna do, right? That was what they were initially talking about. Or you want to walk through the city with your cute childhood friend? So like clearly she knows kind of like what the beginning of this game is supposed to be like for new characters. So I guess literally everyone that plays this game has similar situation. Because I don't know. I mean I assume so if she knows what he did or what was supposed to do. More to the point. And then she even makes a comment about, did you do something, you know, perverted to your childhood friend? And that's when it really cemented it to me just how unique this is. Like, because she started to remind me kind of the general tropes you would associate with this kind of thing, right? And accidentally stabbing your best friend / childhood friend's brother to death in a heated argument. Not a typical thing. I mean, how many anime can you think of where that's first episode material? I bet not a lot. So the fact, so I did really appreciate her position here. Kind of reminded me just how unique of an experience he has had here, right? So, and he has the title Best Friend Killer. So, yeah, not exactly the most flattering title. Besto friendo kira tomodachi goroshi. So yeah, not the kind of badge you wear with pride, really. And I think that's pretty much my thoughts on the show. I feel like this video was way longer than I probably needed to be, but as usual, the discussion segments are as long as I feel like talking about a show, and I feel like talking about this show for quite a while, quite apparently. Because this was actually a lot better than I expected it to be. Like, if I was expecting a 6 out of 10 show, this is like an 8 out of 10, right? I'm not saying those numbers are just placeholders. Like, I'm just saying it's definitely better than I expected for sure. The few characters that we did get, like our Rio girl, our yandere childhood friend character. Yeah, those are two out of the like attractive female characters in the show. Those are the only ones we got a decent amount of. I mean, we technically got the Kaede, but like one quick scene of her. And we didn't get a lot of Rio either, but she's like a fairy in the game, so we'll definitely get more of her. I don't know about Kaede though. I imagine she'll jump into the game too. I don't see why she wouldn't. This amazing double Z rated game. Right? And then the red-haired girl, like, I kind of saw her, like, images of her before going in the show. But, yeah, I really am curious what her deal is. Because she also has kind of a scary weapon. But we already have the scary character that tries to kill the protagonist, so I'm kind of curious what that's all about. Or just are there going to be multiple girls that want him dead for various reasons? Because that'd be a pretty Kusoge thing. But, yeah, really like the episode. Did I get that point across? I think I did. So, yeah, really glad I watched the first episode. This is clearly way better than finalizing Quest 22. Like, I'm sure that game is way lamer in comparison. And yeah, once you get past a bit of a rocky start of the game, I'm sure he'll enjoy it quite a bit. He'll consider it a Akame game once again, and it'll all be great. So, yeah, definitely gonna watch the second episode when that comes out. Hopefully you enjoyed my reaction to this one and watch my reaction to that one as well. So, until then, bye-bye. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki and Ryan for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.